saying he said there was 20 or something. I don't believe you.
And it's Austin bawling his eyes out and Catherine absolutely screaming.
Publicly talking about that is hurtful. It's like so detailed. I told him not to bring that girl. I'm trying to hold the very little peace that we have in our family. He said, yes, I cheated and she was okay with it as long as I said you don't embarrass me.
Austin McBroom speaking out in the wake of his cheating scandal. The YouTuber reacted to ex Catherine Paiz's episode of Call Her Daddy, which dropped May 28th.
And then there was this moment that changed everything for me.
Catherine Paiz is detailing how she found out her now ex-husband, Austin McBroom, was cheating on her, and the aftermath of the revelation. The family vlogger spoke with Alex Cooper on a May 28th episode of Call Her Daddy, when documenting her daughter's first haircut.
I'm in trouble, Austin. Does your wife know that you cheat on her every weekend? Does she know that you message every single girl on Instagram trying to get in their...
So I'm sure by the last video, you know exactly who I'm about to talk about. Anyway, so a couple months ago, I get a DM from him on Instagram
today because Catherine Paiz appeared on the Call Her Daddy podcast, and she's revealing what happened behind the scenes with Austin. We know their house got foreclosed. We knew that he has been cheating on her, but now we finally have Catherine admitting to it all.
In the interview, Catherine going scorched to earth on the father of their 3 kids, Steele, Aliyah, and eldest Elle, who turned 9 years old on the day Mom's sit-down went live.
Haircut. Catherine's phone died. She then grabbed Austin's to take the photo off.
As soon as I grabbed the phone, like out of a movie, this long text comes through. If you really love your wife, you wouldn't be da-da-da-da-da. And I like, my brain scanned it, but I wasn't able to read it fully.
So I get a DM from him on Instagram, just asking me if he could send me stuff from his clothing brand. And I was like, of course. Like, I knew who he was. Like, I had never talked to a celebrity. Like, I was pretty new to doing like collabs and stuff at the time. So I was like, oh my gosh, he really just messaged me. Like, I was just like stoked.
Is titled that Austin had cheated on Catherine with 20 women. And it makes me feel bad for Catherine because even though we've been talking about these scandals on YouTube, it's sad to know that it was all in fact true.
Austin now saying of the timing, dropping this on my daughter's birthday is crazy.
Even through our divorce, even through everything, I never heard him say the words, I cheated, until about a week ago. But in that moment, my heart drops. I'm pregnant. There's people watching us. The camera's on. It felt like, it just felt surreal. The assistant notices, looks at him. He grabs the phone from me and instantly deletes the message.
You know a situation's about to spiral when a YouTuber buys a hot pink throne just to film a response video and then doesn't release it. That's exactly what went down with Austin McBroom this week. The internet was locked in, expecting him to clap back hard at his ex, Catherine Paiz, after she unloaded a 90-minute truth bomb on the Call Her Daddy podcast. But instead of dropping receipts, Austin hit the brakes, claiming it was all for the sake of his kids. And just like that, the pink couch became a symbol of everything he almost said. And maybe wishes he hadn't done. But let's rewind, because what triggered this digital meltdown wasn't just any interview. Catherine didn't hold back. She confirmed infidelity, threw in a casual mention of 20 different women, and directly addressed the years-long speculation around a certain suspicious yacht trip in Miami.
Said it to me. You could have just been honest with me and just told me. But it was like I was being gaslighted.
Catherine's claims first made headlines when sections of her upcoming memoir made the rounds online. After fans learned of Catherine's allegations,
within hours, TikTok exploded. Old clips resurfaced. Cole Kerrigan re-entered the chat, and Austin's carefully curated family-first image started to collapse in real time. The drama didn't stop at a messy breakup. This story involves secret recordings, denial versus confession, public image management, and the complicated ethics of calling someone out while trying to protect your kids. It's a tangled web of he said, she said, with one side filming reaction videos on pastel furniture and the other prepping a memoir to finally set the record straight. So, how did a pocket dial from Miami turn into a full-blown PR crisis? What really happened on that yacht? And why is Cole Kerrigan suddenly back with so-called receipts that the internet can't stop dissecting? Let's break down the chaos, moment by moment. Because what unfolded over these past 48 hours isn't just messy, It's career-defining. When Catherine Paiz sat down with Alex Cooper for Call Her Daddy, fans expected a few subtle digs or maybe some vague closure. What they got instead? A calm but calculated takedown that shook the entire internet. Within the first 20 minutes, Catherine dropped the number 20. That's how many women she believes Austin was involved with during their marriage. And she didn't phrase it as a guess. She said it with the quiet confidence of someone who's been living with the truth for years.
Reaction to Snapchat May 12th, saying in part, I 100% stepped out of my marriage, and it was completely wrong for me to do it.
But finally chose to say it out loud. According to Catherine, she received confirmation of at least a few instances directly. Others came from women who reached out to her personally, and while she couldn't verify every name, she made it clear the total wasn't just speculation. It was a reality she'd already processed. But it didn't stop there. Alex asked the question everyone had been waiting for. Did you ever give him permission? As in, was there ever an understanding that Austin could step out, as long as it didn't make Catherine look foolish in public? Catherine shut it down immediately. That never happened, she said. No open marriage, no green light, no behind-the-scenes agreement to quietly look the other way. If Austin believed that, she made it clear it wasn't coming from her. This one answer flipped the whole narrative, because just days earlier, Austin had implied the exact opposite, that Catherine had told him, just don't embarrass me. A subtle nod in his eyes to keep things private if he did break the trust. But Catherine's version? Completely different. No nod, no approval, just betrayal. And that's when fans realized this isn't just a case of cheating. This is two people walking away from the same house fire, telling totally different stories about how it started. But then, mid-conversation, Catherine casually mentioned something else, a detail most listeners missed on the first run. But it would unlock a whole other wave of controversy online. She confirmed that one of those affairs...
Asking about Austin's response over time, Catherine says,
It never felt apologetic, ever. Even through our divorce, even through everything, I never heard him say the words, I cheated, until about a week ago when that first chapter of my book came out.
Happened on that infamous Miami yacht trip. Yes, that one. And suddenly, the internet remembered a name it hadn't heard in a while. Cole Kerrigan. It was late at night. Catherine's phone rang unexpectedly. And when she picked up, no one was there to speak. Just background noise, a pocket dial. Harmless, right? Except this accidental call came from Austin while he was in Miami, and the voices Catherine heard on the other end, definitely not just the guys. In that moment, everything shifted. Catherine didn't need a smoking gun. She had real-time confirmation that something wasn't right. The sounds, the laughter, the way Austin couldn't explain it away afterward. It wasn't just a glitch in trust. It was a full-on warning siren. And Catherine listened. From there, she started connecting dots. Suspicious trips, stories that didn't add up, texts that suddenly made more sense.
And when I heard the words, I was like, oh my God. Finally, I heard it. Thank you so much. That was all I was waiting for. Thank you. That's all I needed to hear. You could have just said it to me.
And at the center of it all, the yacht. Yep. That same luxurious Miami yacht where rumors first started swirling back in 2019. The one internet sleuths have obsessed over for years. It wasn't just a party boat. It was the location where a now viral makeup artist named Cole Kerrigan claimed something far more serious happened. At the time, the internet was torn. Was it exaggerated, a grab for clout, or something darker that people didn't want to believe? Austin denied it. Catherine stayed silent. And slowly, the story faded from the spotlight. Until now. Because in Call Her Daddy, Catherine confirmed that yes, cheating did happen on that trip. She didn't go into detail, and she framed it simply as another betrayal. But just saying it out loud reignited everything. Because that one sentence validated what Cole had been shouting from the rooftops years ago. Now fans were piecing it together. The yacht, the pocket dial, the timeline, and most importantly, the growing suspicion that what happened in Miami wasn't just a mistake, it was a turning point. Catherine may have moved on, but the internet hadn't forgotten. And as soon as that podcast clip hit TikTok, someone else hit record. Cole Kerrigan was back, and this time, he brought more than just words.
You could have just been honest with me and just told me. But it was like I was being gaslighted.
Speaking about how many women Austin cheated with, Catherine admits,
I know for sure of 3.
The Miami yacht trip had always been surrounded by rumors, whispers of wild behavior, mysterious guests, and a night that no one could quite explain. For years, the details stayed blurry. But with one line on Call Her Daddy, Catherine Paiz dragged it back into focus. Yes, she said, Austin cheated on her during that trip. Simple, clean, controlled, just another betrayal in a long list of betrayals. But for Cole Kerrigan, that version didn't even scratch the surface, because Cole had been telling his side since 2019. Back then, he took to social media and dropped a story that was anything but simple. According to Cole, it wasn't just a case of infidelity. It was a situation where 2 of his friends felt unsafe, locked in a room, scared, shaken. Cole claimed the event went far beyond partying or hookups. And what's worse, he alleged that Austin wasn't the only one involved. His father and a bodyguard were there too. At the time, many dismissed it as drama. The story was intense, and there was no official police filing. But Cole insisted it happened. He said he had photos. He even posted what looked like stained sheets as receipts. The internet barely knew what to do with it. Catherine never publicly acknowledged any of it, until now. But here's the twist. While she did confirm Austin's cheating during the yacht trip, she didn't mention anything beyond that. No references to force, no mention of her ex's father, and definitely no confirmation of Cole's more serious claims. Just the word cheating dropped like a casual footnote in a much bigger story. And that silence, that's what reignited Cole. Because for him, this wasn't just about being right.
Like, for sure, for sure. I know personally of women. I don't know them personally, as I'm friends with them, but I know who they are. I saw some headline things saying he said there was 20 or something.
It was about being believed. He took to TikTok, identifying himself as the blonde makeup artist Catherine subtly referred to. He called out the double standard, and he hinted loudly that the truth was far more disturbing than anyone wanted to admit. Suddenly, Catherine's clean version and Cole's chaotic one were on a collision course. Same night, same yacht, 2 completely different realities. And as Cole's TikTok started making the rounds, he wasn't just repeating old stories, he was ready to show the internet why he never let it go. Cole Kerrigan didn't waste a second. The moment Catherine's podcast went live, his TikTok lit up with notifications. Clips were everywhere. Comments flooded in. And just like that, the name Cole Kerrigan was trending again, for all the reasons he'd hoped people wouldn't forget. He stitched the podcast clip with one simple intro. Hey, it's me, the blonde makeup artist, the one with a name. That sentence alone set the tone. This wasn't about drama for views anymore. This was personal. In his video, Cole reminded viewers that he was the first to sound the alarm about what went down on that Miami yacht trip. He wasn't guessing. He said he heard about it directly, from friends who were on the boat. Friends who, according to him, locked themselves in a room out of fear. And when they called Cole crying, he knew immediately something wasn't right. But it wasn't just the story that hit hard, it was the aftermath. Cole says Catherine and Austin both dismissed him at the time. Publicly, they labeled him a liar, mocked him, downplayed everything. And that backlash, it didn't stay online. Cole revealed that he spent nearly 2 years in therapy, dealing with the harassment and hate that followed. People accused him of making it up, of chasing fame, and worst of all, of weaponizing serious accusations. Now that Catherine had confirmed cheating during that same trip, Cole felt vindicated.
So here was our conversation on Instagram. I mean, it was just typical collab DM. I did find it a little weird and unnecessary that he needed to text me afterwards.
But still bitter, because while she may have softened the story, he insists the full version was far from consensual. In his words, it wasn't a party, it wasn't an orgy, there was no consent anywhere near that yacht. He even pointed fans to older videos, archived exposés where he included photos, call logs, and what he described as concrete evidence. His message was simple. I never lied. I just got buried. And for the first time in years, people were listening. But while Cole was reopening old wounds, Austin McBroom was trying to patch new ones, starting with the biggest disagreement of all. Did Catherine actually give him permission to cheat? Because Austin says yes, Catherine says absolutely not. After Catherine's podcast episode dropped, all eyes turned to Austin McBroom, and instead of staying silent, he took to Snapchat. At first, it looked like he was ready to spill everything. He teased fans with dramatic angles, vague quotes, and yes, that now iconic pink sofa. The stage was set for a tell-all until it wasn't, because in the very next breath, Austin said he'd changed his mind. "I was close to sharing everything," he told his followers, "but it's not worth affecting my kids." He talked about a missed moment with his daughter, Elle, and framed his silence as a choice rooted in fatherhood. On the surface, it was a mature move, but for many, it felt like emotional spin. Why? Because just days before, Austin had all but admitted to cheating. He didn't deny stepping out. He just said it wasn't a betrayal because, according to him, Catherine had told him, "Just don't make me look stupid."
So we text, he asks me if I'm going to be in LA anytime soon, and I'm like, yeah, I can be in LA if it means you personally hand me the package, of course.
To Austin, that was permission. Not an enthusiastic one, but a quiet green light. A kind of do what you want, but don't embarrass me publicly arrangement. And that statement sparked outrage. Catherine, on Call Her Daddy, completely shut that down. "That never happened," she said flatly. No gray area, no hints, just a full-on denial. She never gave him permission. And if he thought she had, he was misreading the situation entirely. This back and forth opened up a whole new debate. Was Austin twisting her words to justify his actions? Or was Catherine backtracking to protect her public image? The internet was divided. Some viewers pointed out that Catherine had stayed with him for years after knowing about the cheating, which raised uncomfortable questions. Others applauded her for finally saying something, even if it came late. Either way, it was clear. One of them wasn't telling the full story. And with Austin refusing to post the truth-telling video he teased, all fans had were fragments, hints, quotes, and a pink couch that's become the symbol of everything left unsaid. But as the drama spiraled, another number started grabbing attention. Not just that one affair on the yacht, not just 3 confirmed, but 20. Was Austin really tangled up in that many side stories? When Catherine casually said the number 20 on Call Her Daddy, it wasn't delivered with drama. No pause, no emphasis, just a soft, matter-of-fact tone that somehow made it hit even harder. She didn't say, "I think it was 20. She said the number like it was already settled, a detail she'd long accepted, not something she was guessing at. According to Catherine, some women came forward to her directly. Others were confirmed through people she trusted.
So I go to LA by myself, and I'm going to have to do part 2. Okay, so here's part 2. So I get to LA, I'm staying in a hotel completely by myself. We're texting a little bit throughout the day, like, you know, kind of like seeing what I keep asking what the plans are later and like what exactly we're doing, and he kind of just keeps beating around the bush.
And while she admitted she may never know the full count, 20 wasn't some exaggerated headline. It was her honest estimate. And that's when the internet broke. Because cheating once, that's messy. A few times, still shocking. But 20? That's a pattern, a lifestyle. And suddenly, Austin's whole dad-first image began to crack under the weight of it. Fans started pulling receipts from old Ace family vlogs, travel timelines, tour appearances, party cameos. People on Reddit compiled lists of potential mystery women caught in the background of old Instagram stories. TikTok sleuths compared flight logs to shady DMS that had once been dismissed. It became an investigation the entire internet wanted in on. The most uncomfortable part? A lot of this allegedly happened while Catherine was pregnant, raising kids, or working behind the scenes to keep their brand together. And if that timeline's true, it paints a much darker picture of what Catherine was enduring in silence. Austin, for his part, hasn't denied the number. Not directly. He only said that things weren't perfect, and that both of them knew it. But with Catherine putting an actual number to the damage, he suddenly looked less like a guy making a few bad choices, and more like someone living a double life. And with a memoir on the way, Catherine's Dolores hits shelves July 1st, people are expecting even more to come out, maybe even names. But before we look ahead, there's one last layer to this saga that can't be ignored. Because while Austin hides behind the idea of protecting his kids, Catherine is reshaping her entire public story. And Cole Kerrigan, he's still online, still fighting to be heard. So where does it all lead? As the dust settles from this 48-hour meltdown, one thing is clear: the internet isn't done with the Ace family just yet. Since Catherine's podcast appearance, pre-orders for her memoir Dolores have surged. Amazon listed it as a hot new release in its biography category within days. The timing? Impeccable. Whether strategic or coincidental, Catherine's soft-spoken bombshells have reignited global curiosity and given her the final word she never had during the family's prime YouTube days. Meanwhile, the hashtag number #AceFamilyExposed has crossed over 47 million views on TikTok, with clips of Cole Kerrigan's response going viral overnight. He's no longer just a side character in this drama. To some, he's now the whistleblower who warned the internet before anyone believed him. And while his story still divides public opinion, it's clear that people are listening now more than ever. As for Austin, he's gone silent again, at least publicly. No pink sofa video, no receipts, just vague promises of protecting the kids, while the internet continues to drag his name across every platform. His image, once built on family-friendly content and luxury lifestyle vlogs, now feels like a fragile shell held together by nostalgia and denial. The biggest question now isn't whether Austin did what Catherine and Cole claim. It's whether he'll ever tell his full version, or if that pink sofa will remain the most dramatic thing he ever filmed but never posted. And maybe that's for the best, because at the center of all this are 3 children. Kids who've watched their parents go from YouTube royalty to trending hashtags. Kids who now live in a world where every tabloid knows their family's mess. So what happens next? A tell-all memoir? Potential legal reboots? More TikTok revelations? And a fandom that's finally ready to hear the parts of the story that were edited out for years. But if there's one thing we've learned from this roller coaster, it's this: what happens on a yacht in Miami doesn't stay in Miami, especially when there's a pocket dial, a pink sofa, and 20 unanswered questions.